Well, hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me here in my shop on March 17th. So, yesterday's work in my shop here, I spent a good hour that I did not stick in the last video, proving that these two tubes cannot be responsible for the behavior of the radio. The behavior being that you turn it on in 5 or 10 minutes, it drops, its output drops, the AVC voltage drops. Right at the very end of yesterday's video, I discovered a sensitivity when moving this box around a bit. Afterwards, I thought some more about that. For sure, it's indicating something is loose or something of that sort, something that probably should be attended to, but it caused a different effect on the radio than what I've been chasing. What I've been chasing is a go high to low. When I wheeled this thing, it went right to nothing. That's how I remember it anyway. So it could be that this in itself is not a discovery that's going to lead directly to the earlier problem. Maybe not. What's more likely is it's going to indicate to me, once again, the general problem that may be in this radio with all of its soldered connections. Well, not all of them, but many of them. Some of them were cracked. Now, I resoldered the ones I found, but maybe there's more in here. Now, the ones I found were down here in the hot zone of the radio, where these two hot tubes are. Seem mostly related to the actual pins for these tubes. But if they can crack here, they can crack anywhere given the right circumstances. So perhaps that's what I'm chasing, is a slightly cracked solder connection on the board. And when I turn the set on, it heats up ever so slightly and makes a better connection, or the other way around. As it begins to heat up, it makes a worse connection, and we go from the high to the low. So these things are kind of pointing, what happened here, what's happening here, and just the general operation of it are all pointing towards the possibility of a cracked solder joint. So I'm going to focus on this very carefully. I'm going to go through the radio very carefully. I've already done this once, and I think that's another piece of video that I did not put on the internet, where I spent a long time with my close-up camera looking at each and every solder connection, trying to spot the cracked ones. Now, it's possible for a crack to exist that cannot be seen. It's just too small, or for some reason you can't see it, but it's there. And that would suggest getting out the soldering iron and just resoldering every connection, and that's where I may end up with this. And that would be a way to eliminate solder problems, solder connection problems, eliminate it. But it's also the way to introduce a bunch more at the same time. So you need to think about that pretty carefully. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go after all the... so I basically eliminated these tubes. Now I'm going to work at eliminating solder problems as a possible cause. Okay, so I used some pretty intense lighting. I used my headgear viewer here, which I learned has something in it I didn't know. You could pop that lens back, and so it actually has like a high magnification and medium magnification. Super high if you swing that down. Yeah, very good. So this is very helpful. I looked all those guys over in there. Can't say I saw a single one that looked cracked. All the cracked ones I had resoldered already. And they're down at this end of the board anyway. It's up at this end where the flexing caused an effect. Let's take a look with the close camera here. So these are the terminals from the coming down from the IF. So inside here are those IF cans. There they are up there. Couldn't see any cracks, but for sure these would be some of the connections that were being flexed, so I resoldered them all. Just re-wetted them with a little bit of solder. I did all the connections in the area here. Huh. Looks like I missed one right there. Right in the middle of the shot. with that one. Is it very hard to see, or is it just camera angle? I think it's just camera angle. I think I got it before. Very hard looking at these shiny things, especially in a camera like this, without 3D benefit of 3D. Yeah, they look worse in the camera than they do otherwise. They look terrible, but they aren't. Okay. I also did all the 2-pin connections in the radio over again. They look much better under a regular magnification than in this camera. On the output tubes with the cracked ones over here, I had not done the center post, so I tried resoldering that again. It just looks terrible in the camera, but not so bad with magnifiers. I think every possible there's one I may have missed right there. Again, it's just about impossible to see it. Doesn't look bad anyway, but so the problem with doing this is you run the risk of introducing trouble. My soldering iron just went off. Just timed out. Okay, I think it's time to check the radio's operation. So I've got to flip it over and plug everything back into it. We'll give it a try. See what happens. Okay, I'm ready for a test here. What I want to do is I want to try to tune in the signal generator from over there at 4 megahertz, just like I did last time I operated the radio. See what this voltage rises up to. Now, I have a little issue with my voltage readings here. At one point, I thought there was 9 volts on here. I may have had the scale different than what I thought. It may have never been more than 2.5 volts. So I'd like to find out about that. So I'm starting with 15 volts. 9 would be straight up. 9 would be the result if I push a strong signal into the antenna and everything's working well. That's kind of where I'm at with this. So if this comes up to only 2.5, I can still change the scale to 5. 2.5 would be pretty much straight up. And when it's in its really bad mode, it drops down in this area. I can still recognize it. Volume disappears. All that kind of stuff. But I don't know if it's going to go from good to bad, just how long I've got. 1 minute? 10 minutes? Looks like 10 minutes, but could it be only 1 minute? Or how long I would have to operate it before I say, hey, the resoldering fixed it. Okay, so volume down. We're going to go on broadcast band to start, just to verify the radio's operation is normal. Shortwave 1, 4 megahertz. 4 megahertz on the signal generator. And then we'll see what's happening here. And by then, hopefully the radio, if it's in its good state, hasn't switched yet. And hopefully it doesn't switch. That's right, stomach. Even my stomach's excited about this. Okay, so power on. Okay, and the maximum voltage here is 115 volts. We're on the dim bulbs to start with. Broadcast. Okay, dim bulbs behaving correctly. Volume up. Lots of volume. Which one? Lots of volume. ABC meter jumping here. Tune in the signal generator. And that's a real 10 volts there. Excellent. Okay, so we're in the good mode. This crazy radio is so hard to tune. 10 volts on the meter. Lots of volume. But that is a pretty strong signal, but that's okay. Now we're going to let this operate and see what happens after 10 or 15 minutes. Let me just turn this down a wee bit. I got to be able to hear it throughout my house, or a wee bit in parts of my house, so I can be conscious. Good to be conscious. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. Tons of volume. Good AVC. Haven't even tried retuning the radio. Let's give it a try here, just to make sure it's... Whoa, it's way up higher. Why would it be higher? I don't know. That's 15 volts. That's 14 volts on there. That's fantastic. That is really fantastic. Okay, so the time now is 11 o'clock plus 1 hour. It's actually 12 o'clock. I'll leave this guy running, and we'll come back and see what's up. Maybe in like half an hour or so. That should prove it. Okay, finished my roast beef sandwich. It's now 12:30, not 11:30, so half an hour's gone by. And this has only gone up. It's at 15 now. I'll tune the radio a little bit. Just a hair over 15, getting close to 16. Excellent. Now, some interesting questions here. Let me we'll stop this test. I'm pretty convinced that something is better now. So we're going to take off the signal generator, very low volume setting here to get that to come out. And we're going to attach an antenna, which I just realized is probably not switched on down here. I'm going to have to run and make sure the antenna is switched on. Okay, let's tune around. Shortwave 1. It's a bit of a low frequency for this time of day, going from 2 megahertz to 5. I'm not going to get anything but noise here. Keep an eye on this meter though. Still on the 15 volt scale. Certainly is sensitive. Just picking up noises, unfortunately. Let's go right up around 5. Look, I'm only one channel. Well, isn't that a bit of a... Oh, there it is. There we are, both channels. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go to shortwave 2. We should get the same kind of AVC stuff here. Ooh. Volume up a little bit. Oh my gosh.
Creation of the world and the existence of yarn. Exactly. Now, I'm not going to spend time on a long discussion of the physics exposure, you'll be pleased to know. Well, that's the question anyway. The question is asking what impact this will have on Christian theology. And I think my answer is that...
Let me guess, we're at 9330, about the strongest shortwave station around at this time of day, for sure. But we are getting up around 8 and 9 volts here. I think you can see from the action of the AVC, and this may be on purpose. This radio may be reducing the AVC action on shortwave. Possibly. Or changing its linearity, I guess I would call it. I don't know. You gonna pick anything else up? One's enough.
For a smile.
That's it. That's the only thing. That's pretty good. Now, what if we switch to FM? There's a lot of volume to get the hiss up. I've got only a little clip lead, one clip lead as an antenna back there. This still seems very weak. Okay, way up at the high end here.
Requiring automakers to percentage of EVs year after year. And that will prioritize the Canadian market, because right now a lot of EVs, they're being produced around the world, but they're going to places where they're required to be, like the EU and China.
Let's try a little better antenna. What have I got? Well, we can try the outdoor antenna.
She was actually on this particular topic. Leslie, go ahead. What are you seeing?
I hear the president few callers that it's the availability of an electric car. I was hoping to purchase one at the end of 2021, a Volkswagen model, and the dealer to live in London, and they thought they would be
Trying different combinations here.
for health care reasons for my husband.
I just wiped it right out.
To long-term care. Yes, but I can't get product, and I'm being told it's another year or two more.
That's the entire antenna right there. I think I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to hook up a dipole antenna and see if we don't get a better result here. Okay, so I'm trying this wing antenna again. Tuning. Not much difference there. Angle. Full volume here.
But the electricity that I'm putting in it,
Okay, I think that's sufficient now. This antenna has worked well for me on other radios. Not sure if there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there is. I think it's all the radio. I notice the interstation hiss, background noise, is also very low. You have to turn this way up to get that to come through. Station's coming through very weak, very, very weak. So we could go back to the FM alignment side of things, and maybe that's where we can pick everything up. Or there's still another defect in this radio. So, but it looks like the one I was fighting is gone. The intermittent one. Loads of volume on broadcast. Man. Lots of ABC happening. Well, I think that's pretty good. Getting rid of an intermittent problem like that is a challenge at best, and a certain amount of luck has come through for me on this, I think. So that's great. So I have the shortwave band number 2 to finish the alignment on, and then attend to the FM side of things, and that's for tomorrow. I'm done for today. So thanks a lot for watching, and bit by bit, we're chipping away the problems with this radio.